well, he was asking me for a story. I mean, one thing I could tell you about is a really interesting one that's recently come my way, and the Japanese one, the ultimate sushi. Now, it's not just raw fish. These go in still with it.
Well, that's very funny. But what in the world does that have to do with mythology? What does ingestion have to do with mythology? And you, sir, are talking about something that's hopelessly romantic. I don't know why we're even here if we're not going to discuss mythology.
Oh, a rather prickly Professor Pulling there. Don't worry, Prof, we'll get back to plugging your book, The Genko, in just a moment. But I have to say, I'd much rather be considered a romantic than a Smurf. But now on the line, we've got Louise. Louise, how you doing,
Where are you coming from? Charles, what is it that interests you about the Smurfs? In Houston in 1983, there was a panic among children who were swearing that they were being accosted by Smurfs, who would come up to them and shake them down for the lunch money, steal their food from them.
The media kept saying that the kids had it all wrong, that they were deluded somehow. The experts kept coming forward and saying they were undergoing some sort of fantasy terror. But the police I talked to said there really were Smurfs, that there were these gang members in pointy hats who kept shaking down the kids for everything that they could get from them. The kids were right. The Smurfs were real. And so, Charles, there really were Smurfs out there.
Good news, the book's going down really well in Finland, and I've got you a spot on that Finnish TV show I was telling you about. Just don't screw it up this time, okay?
Now, let's see. As a visiting fellow in the oral tradition at the University of Central London, I still say we need more data, more data, more data. Now, some people say, come on, what are we, German scholars? And I say, yeah, 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 yeah! Whoa!
Hey.
Where are you headed?
I'm going to Turku.
You're going to Turku?
It's called Oboe.
Oboe, Oboe. Oboe, I'm going to Oboe. Why don't you get in and we'll go to Oboe together?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
You.
Okay, good.
Min jobbarkompis släkting kom åkande så glad ut i sin nya Volvo på väg till Jakobstad. Då ser han vid vägkanten en ung och söt blondin. Hon står där vid en Fiat och ler med hjälplös min.
She stands beside the bonnet which she has rigged up. My pal's relative thinks she has had a motor breakdown. He slows down and stops and is just about to step out. Then 3 bandits are running towards him with a roar. Hiding in some bushes, they were lying in wait. 3 roughnecks who should have been jailed for lifetime. They pull his car door open in the quiet evening, but the man shuts the door with a hell of a bang. That is 3 fingertips cut off by the car door. The sharp, she-Aryan taught the robber a lesson. Together with the police, the man drives back again to the place where the blonde was standing an hour ago. But the blonde is gone, and so is her car, which is probably rolling 7-8 miles from there. But on the ground are traces. A Russian bottle is left, and behind the bush they see a recently dug grave.
We heard Marie Selander singing about frightful car robbers and horrible stories going around these days. But my special guest tonight is one of the greatest folklorists in the world, Sweden's very own Bengt af Klintberg. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, where did it start, your interest in modern myths, and how?
I heard a story. It was a girl who worked in our family, and she had met her boyfriend one evening. And when she came home, she said, "I will never in my life eat a pizza anymore." Then she told a story about a rat bone that got stuck in the throat of some other guest in that restaurant. And I immediately felt that this might be a legend. So I started to investigate that story and found out that it had originated some 10 years earlier in England, and it had been told only about foreign restaurants all over Europe, and many restaurants had to close down when the story hit them because people believed it was a true story, which shows that many of these modern legends are rather dangerous stories.
The ultimate sushi. Now, it's not just raw fish. These go in still.
Norway, Denmark, and Germany. So, more often than you would believe, daily papers print these stories and as news stories. I think that if you work for a long time with these stories, you become a skeptic. But I would never dare to say that they are all false. They are from the border zone between reality and imagination. And
that's interesting. And a little bit scary too.
Yes.
This age thing. Thank you very much, Bengt.
Thank you.
Now, let's have an American view on this. Professor Charles Paulson Pulling, academic, author, and debunker of hundreds of modern myths. He has a new book out called Gangsterbilen, or the gang car, and he's here himself.
Se upp så inte Maffian går på er nästa gång. Jag passar er ni alla som hör på denna sång. Se upp så inte Maffian går på er nästa gång.
Pasta costa ni pasta. Well, Jesus Christ, what can you expect? They never have any light up there, do they?
Kaufman, I got you a rumor job, a seriously big food giant. Prove this one's as false as all those other corporate stories, and it's payola pulling.